So here's a little video I made of the trip I took to Utah recently, and this is going to be on Red Trail. It's a sister trail, actually starts basically at the same place as 5 Miles of Hell, going through very similar terrain. It's a little bit easier, but has a lot of the same kind of features and scenery. It's really an awesome trail. Hopefully you can appreciate the scenery more than the riding. I was just recovering from a wrist injury and taking it slow, although I always take it slow. And I was solo on this trip, so I was being careful. But it's a pretty awesome trail, and I had some security on this trip because I had my Garmin inReach, and the guide service that I'd used previously when I did 5 Miles of Hell was on call just in case I needed it. This is just starting off very tentative. Things kind of steep, even though it doesn't look like it. You can see why they call it Red Trail. And there's an orange trail and a blue trail, and they use that color paint to mark the trail. If you've ever been to Utah and been on some slick rock trails, you'll understand. It's the only way they can really identify which way the trail goes. This is a real pretty feature right here. Spent a fair amount of time trying to figure out which way was the right way to go, and of course which is the easy line. Sometimes it looks like you should go a different way than the paint takes you, but the paint's right. Yeah, this is where I got stuck, right there. A little lifting of the back end got me out of there. So this trail is located in an area called the San Rafael Swell. Not exactly sure why it's called that, but it's a very unique part of Utah, different from Moab. It's quite a bit higher. First time I went there, I hadn't even realized until I started learning about it that the average elevation of these trails is about 6,500 feet. So in addition to them being pretty tough, you're basically running on half the oxygen you normally have. so it tends to wear you out a little bit. Although it wasn't too bad on this trail. Stopped a fair amount of times, and it's not real long. I did this trail as an out and back because the alternative to make it a loop is really long, and I didn't know what I'd be getting into, so I decided the devil I knew was better than the devil I didn't. This is probably, one of the tougher parts of the trail here. Turned out it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be looking. It took me a little while to size it up and actually go for it. And then I kind of overshot it. But it worked out. You get a few open spots in the trail like this that are good for a breather. Gotta watch the sand though, it's pretty loose. This trail's rated most difficult. I have a standard trail rating system there, and the trails are well marked. And it's definitely got some difficult spots in it. I think it's all relative. If you ride in this terrain, after a little while you start to get the hang of it. It doesn't seem quite as difficult, but it's still, it can get a little sketchy. And if you fall, you're going to fall on rock. Pretty much guaranteed. That's a fun little downhill. I was worried about coming back up this on the way back. But as it turned out, it wasn't bad at all. And it drops into this wash. I cut most of this out. It goes for a ways. And you come down here a little bit, and the trail takes a hard right-hander. Let's just past this a little bit. Yeah, you can kind of see it over there on the right. I had to scope it out for a while, figure out what the best way was to tackle it. Wasn't too bad. It's always a little tough when you've never been on a trail before, because you just don't know what you're going to run into. So getting near the end of the trail here, there's only a couple more obstacles to go. You get the idea. It's got some easy spots. It's got some step ups and some tricky things, some downhills. It's really just an awesome trail. And a few words about riding in Utah. If you've been to southern Utah before, you get it. It's a unique place. It's like being on a different planet. But where you typically go in Moab, you have the big sandstone rock formations that are really spectacular. This is a very different area. The San Rafael Swell is really layers and layers of earth that have kind of tilted up at an angle. And it's just a fantastic place. Some people might not appreciate it, but to me, it's almost ghostly, the terrain and the rock formation. And once you've been there, it kind of gets in your head. And I keep wanting to go back. Part of it's the riding, part of it's just the scenery. You know, I love Moab too, but this area is just, I don't know what it is. Well, here we go. Come on. A little more. There we go. Whew. Part of it's the remoteness too. This area, you're really probably a good 30 or 40 miles at least from any civilization other than Interstate 70, which is probably about 10 or 15 miles north of this area. There's nothing. There's no towns. There's no homes. It is out there. And I think that's part of what contributes to the kind of eerie feeling this place has. Very different from Moab in that regard, which is people everywhere, national parks, towns. wonderful restaurants and breweries. So probably not for everybody, but if you like that sort of thing. And here we come to the end of the trail. About 4 miles, not too long. And back the other direction. Thanks for watching.